Good morning, class ninth, and today we will start with page number 40. So, everyone, open page number 40 of your civics book and let's start with the topic reserved constituencies. Our constitution entitles every citizen to elect her or his representative and to be elected as representative. That means in our constitution, each and everyone who is the citizen of our country can be elected as a representative. The constitution makers, however, were worried that in an open electoral competition, certain weaker section may not stand a good chance to get elected to the Lok Sabha. Because in our country we know that earlier the people who belong to weaker section such as the people who are considered like lower in the caste, they were facing lot of discrimination. So they were worried whether they will also get equal chance to stand in the election of the Lok Sabha and the state legislative assembly. They may not have the required resources, education, contacts to contest and win elections against others. Those who are influential and resourceful may prevent them from winning election. If that happens, our parliament and assemblies would be deprived of the voice of a significant section of our population. So, like, it will be unfair. All people are same, whether they belong to lower caste or to higher class, or whether they are poor or rich. Each one of the person in our country has the equal right to stand in election and to be the part of government. That would make our democracy less representative. If suppose such type of discrimination happens, then this democracy will not be a real democracy. Okay, it will be less democracy. And our constitution maker, they never wanted that our country should be less democratic. So, the makers of our constitution thought of a special system of reserved constituencies for the weaker sections. Some constituencies are reserved for people who belong to the scheduled caste, which are called SC, or scheduled tribes, ST. In a SC reserved constituency, only someone who belongs to scheduled caste can stand for election. Similarly, only those belonging to scheduled tribe can contest an election from a constituency reserved for ST. Okay. Currently in the Lok Sabha, there are 84 seats are reserved for SC and 47 for the scheduled tribes. So, in that way, the weaker section will not face any discrimination because already seats are reserved for them. Okay. As on 26 January 2019, this number is in proportion of to their share in the total population. So this number is like they have kept out of the total population, so that there will be a significant number of this section. Thus, the reserved seats for SC and ST do not take away the legitimate share of any other social group. Like if other social group is more influential, they may not take the right of these people. That's why their seats were reserved. Okay, so such constituencies are called reserved constituencies. This system of reservation was extended later to other weaker sections at the district and local level. In many states, seats in rural, that is panchayat, and urban municipalities and corporations, local bodies are now reserved for OBCs also. However, the proportion of seats reserved reserved varied from state to state. So it depends on the state had, like how many seats will be there, like it depends on the size of the state. Okay, so this number varies in different states. Similarly, one third of the seats are reserved in rural and urban local bodies for women candidate also, because in our society women are also like considered weaker than the men. So in order to uplift the position of women, their number is also fixed. Okay, they also come under reserve constituencies. So let's start voters list. Once the constituencies are decided, the next step is to decide who can and who cannot vote. Okay, like we know, we get our name, the one who has the right to vote. If you are above 18 years, if you are citizen of the country, you have right to vote, and according to the area your name will be there in the voters list. So whosoever like is entitled to give vote, their name is there in the voters list. So like the voter list decides who can give the vote or who cannot. Okay, this decision cannot be left to anyone till the last day. In a democratic election, the list of those who are eligible to vote is prepared much before the election and given to everyone. This list is officially called the electoral roll and is commonly known as voters list. You might have also heard from your parents, like a voter list is prepared in which there are names who are supposed to give vote. This is an important step, for it is linked to the first condition of a democratic election. Okay, in a democratic election, if suppose a person is going again and again and giving vote, this is going to be unfair. So like if the person is going to give vote, his or her name should be there in the voters list, and it is then marked, and like that person cannot re-go and just give the vote. Okay, just to make the election more fair, a voter list is prepared. Everyone should gain an equal opportunity to choose representative. Earlier we read about the principle of universal adult franchise. In practice, it means that everyone should one vote and each vote should have equal value. So according to universal adult franchise, the one person has the right to give one vote and each vote has equal value. Okay, no one should be denied the right to vote without reason. Okay, if suppose any person is asked to not to give vote, there should be a valid reason for that. Otherwise there is no one to stop anyone who is fulfilling the criteria to give vote. Different citizens differ from one another in many ways. Some are rich, some are poor, some are highly educated, some are not so educated or not educated at all. Some are kind, others are not so kind, but all of them are human beings with their own needs and views. That is why all of them deserve to have an equal say in decisions and affect them. In our country, all the citizens aged 18 years and above can vote in an election. Every citizen has the right to vote regardless of his or her caste, religion, or gender. Some criminals and persons with unsound mind can be denied to right to vote, but only in rare situations. It is the responsibility of the government to get the names of all the eligible voters put on the voters list. As new person attain voting age, names are added, or who move out of a place, or those who are dead are deleted. A complete revision of the list takes to ensure that it remains up to date. That means that voters list should be up to date. Okay, this is done to ensure that it remains up to date. In the last few years, a new system, that is EPIC, that is election photo identity card, has been introduced. You might have seen with your parents or the elders at your home who are above 18 or 18 years of age. They all are having election photo identity card. The government has tried to give this card to every person on the voters list. The voters are required to carry this card when they go out to vote. So this is a kind of proof that we are fulfilling all the criteria to give vote. But the card is not yet compulsory for voting. For voting, the voters can show many other proofs like identity, like the ration card or the driving license. I hope you have understood what voters list. Let's start nomination of candidates. We need above that in a democratic election, people should have a real choice. This happens only when there are almost no restriction to anyone to contest an election. This is what our system provides. Anyone who can be a voter can also become a candidate in election. Okay. So, like, all have equal right to participate in the election. Anyone, if suppose a person who is a voter who has the right to give vote can also stand in the election. Is it clear? The only difference is that in order to be a candidate, the minimum age is 25 years, while it is only 18 years for being a voter. If you want to give vote, you should be at least 18 years of age. If you want to stand in an election, you want to be a part of election, then in that case you should be at least of 25 years of age. There are some other restrictions on criminals, but these apply in very extreme cases. Political parties nominate their candidates who get the party symbol and support. Party's nomination is often called ticket. Okay, if suppose any person joins a particular party, it means that a person is getting ticket of that particular party. Every person who wishes to contest an election has to fill a nomination form. Okay, these are the basic things that a person has to follow. If you are participating in election, you want to stand in election, you have to fill nomination form and give some money, because that money will be a security money. Okay, like when you go for admission in the school, you have to give some security money. In the same way, when you are participating in an election, you need to give some security money. Recently, a new system of declaration has been introduced on direction from the Supreme Court. Every candidate has to make a legal declaration, okay, along full details like serious criminal cases pending against the candidate. If suppose a person wants to stand in election, he should not have a criminal background. Details of the assets and liabilities, that means that person should be fair, should have white money, should not have any black money. Otherwise, that person is not legible to participate in the election. And one more important thing that recently has been introduced, educational qualification. The person should be qualified or a learned person. This information has to be made public. This provides an opportunity to the voters to make their decision on the basis of the information provided by the candidates. Let's see educational qualification for the candidate. Why is there no educational qualification for holding such an important position when some kind of educational qualification is needed for any other job in the country? You know, people, they raise this question that if a particular person is standing in the election, should be educated. Okay, but in the elections, or if any person is standing in the election, does not require a particular criteria for fulfilling the educational qualification criteria. Reason: educational qualification are not relevant to all kinds of job. The relevant qualification for selection to the Indian cricket team, for example, is not the attainment of educational degree but the ability to play cricket well, because there in cricket match there is no requirement of achieving your degrees. There you should be perfect in your game. Like if you are playing cricket, you should be perfect in your game, instead that you should be, or you should be holding any particular degree. That makes no sense. Similarly, the relevant qualification for being an MLA or the MP is the ability to understand people's concern. Sometimes we see that a person is very educated, but that person has no concern with the other person. They are just self-centered. But the other one, if suppose is not holding any qualification but is a good person who understand people's aspiration, so that person will be suitable to stand in the election. So these are different things: being social, or to think about the country. All these qualities cannot be there in a particular educated person. Okay. So there is no relevant qualification for being an MLA or an MP: the ability to understand people concern. This is the important quality that is required in the person who is standing in the election. Whether they can do so or not is examined by lack of examiners. So here the country people will be the examiner, because they are going to judge that person during the performance of that particular person. So this is a practical way to judge a person. Okay. When voters next time give the vote to that particular candidate, it means that person has worked a lot and the people are happy. So by the election, the person result comes out whether that person did his or her work properly or not. Even if education was relevant, it should be left to the people to decide how much importance they give to educational qualification. So it should be decided by the people of the country, because they are the real judge. In our country, putting an educational qualification would go against the spirit of democracy. For yet another reason, it would mean depriving a majority of the country's citizens the right to contest election. If, for example, a graduate degree like BA, BCom, BSc was made compulsory for candidate, more than 90% of the citizens will become ineligible to contest election, because they may hold degree but they may not have the capability to understand people's demand. Okay. So there is no such criteria for the person who is participating in the election. There is no such criteria, because holding the educational qualification is very, very different from the quality of understanding people's desires. So this much for today. Thank you everyone. Have a nice